with Nick from Upload VR, one of the co-founders. He's going to tell us a little bit about Upload VR.
Yeah. Upload VR has been around for about a year, and what we do is we bring the virtual reality community together. So that's happened in a couple ways. It happens on our editorial, uploadvr.com, which is a lot like TechCrunch, actually, but we only talk about VR startups and VR news and what's happening in that space. And then we also have events like our demo days and conferences similar to this. We're working with TechCrunch to source some of the VR Pavilion to kind of help bring people together, start a brainstorming sesh, collaborate, whatever it is they need to do to push the industry forward. And now we're working on a new product that's going to help bring more of the international community together online, a platform for them to all connect and message and showcase themselves, and that'll be coming out in Q1 of 2016.
So I know you got a new platform coming along, and being the home of VR, tell us a little bit about what you're seeing here at TechCrunch and what you think is kind of going to be in the marketplace the next year or two, and so the challenges VR faces.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is content creation tools right now. It's really difficult to make content, to make good content, and I think that that's what we're going to see a lot of startups trying to help tackle, that problem of how do we make the ecosystem just cleaner? How can we go from capture all the way to a real stitch video without having to do too much work? So I feel like there's going to be a lot of tools that are going to be created here in the next year to help support that. But gaming is going to be hot, right? Like Cerebrum is one of my favorite games. They're doing brain training. It's kind of like Lumosity, but for VR, I love that. And then there's also some really incredible companies across like healthcare and journalism. Emblematic Group is telling immersive stories that like really drive home empathy. So, I mean, I'm excited at Disrupt for all of it, to be honest, because it's just amazing to have 60 VR companies at a conference like Disrupt. But I think what you're going to see in the next year is a lot of tools that are going to help creators make better things.
So tell us a little bit more about what you sort of see for Upload VR this year, and you mentioned the new product release in international communities, but I also know you're trying to be a space for people to kind of connect with investors and other people.
Totally. So right now, virtual reality is spread across so many different little micro communities on the web, and there's no real home for people to connect and have discussions where I know I'm talking to somebody about VR. And that's a problem, right? Like, if people don't have access to information, then they're not going to be able to make any moves. So we're trying to help people make moves by just giving that centralized location for people to host their content, showcase themselves, message, connect with one another. Investors will be there helping source and find companies. Companies will be there to show their work. It's just, we got to give them a place, and there's no place for VR right now, and that's what we're working on with the new product, and that's the goal, to bring in more of this international market.
Excellent. So anything else you want to add about the VR space and what you guys are doing, or and generally like TechCrunch?
I mean, it's really fucking cool, and if you haven't tried it, you got to try it. It's one of those, you got to see it to believe it. The VR space is going to be one of those things that takes a lot of people by surprise. I always talk about how like 99% of the consumers of VR don't even know what VR is yet. And it's so the truth, because we're in this bubble within a bubble. There's the tech bubble, and then there's the VR bubble within it. And events like this are still in that bubble, but once we break out of it, once you walk to a Best Buy and you see a big VR headset on display, it's going to be changing a lot of people's lives, and a lot of the way that they engage with content, share with friends, communicate. It's going to be really exciting over the next year to see what people do with it.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. Thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out here at TechCrunch with us. I'm Jason Schneiderman from Perkins Coie and the Emerging Companies Group. Thank you.